What is gestational diabetes mellitus? Anupama? Sangeetamala? Anyone define gestational diabetes mellitus? If you don't respond, what is the use of taking class?
Ma'am,
Anyone?
diabetes occurring for the first time in pregnancy in the second trimester.
Definition should be like definition. So what is gestational diabetes mellitus?
Defined as the carbohydrate intolerance of varying severity with
Yes.
onset or first recognition during present pregnancy, ma'am.
With the first onset or first recognition during the
Present pregnancy, ma'am.
present pregnancy. So what are the types of diabetes? How many types? 2 types, no?
Overt and
Pre-gestational or over diabetes. The other one is gestational diabetes. Pre-gestational or over diabetes can be type 1 or type 2. So what are the characteristics of a type 1? Type 1 diabetes occurs in younger individual. Insulin dependent diabetes. It's due to absolute deficiency of insulin. Which is common, type 1 or type 2? Type 2 is due to what? It's due to insulin resistance or due to defective insulin secretion. So type 2 diabetes is common. Gestational diabetes, usually it occurs after 20 weeks of gestation. So what is the carbohydrate metabolism in pregnancy? Is it same or altered? Anupama? What do you mean by facilitated anabolism or accelerated starvation? Carbohydrate metabolism in pregnancy is altered or not? What's her name? 118. Lakshmi. Lakshmi Prabha. Lakshmi Prabha. Lakshmi Prabha. Or anyone? Tell something about the carbohydrate metabolism of pregnancy. It is altered, no? Yes.
Insulin resistance.
Dhyaneshwaran, yes. Carbohydrate metabolism is altered in pregnancy.
Increased insulin resistance will be there.
Why it is altered? To provide continuous supply of glucose and glycogenic precursors to the fetus. And also to provide fuel substitute for the mother. Why there is insulin resistance? That is, the pregnancy is diabetogenic state, no? What is the reason for diabetogenic state?
Pregnant hormones are the reason.
Yes.
HPL hormone.
So pregnancy produces variety of hormones which will have which will cause insulin resistance. So what are the hormones?
Human placental lactogen.
It produces variety of hormones which will produce insulin resistance. What are the hormones? Estrogen,
human placental lactogen,
progesterone, cortisol, human chorionic gonadotrophin and human placental lactogen. What is the enzyme produced by placenta
Insulin.
which will degrade the insulinase? So these hormones and the enzyme insulinase is responsible for insulin resistance. So what is the insulin requirement during pregnancy? What happens to the insulin requirement in pregnancy? Sarath, what will happen to the insulin requirement? In normal
Will be-
individual, usually it's a 0.8 units per kg. During first trimester, the insulin requirement is 0.7 unit. During second trimester, 0.8. Third trimester, 0.9 to 1 international unit per kg. As pregnancy advances, the insulin requirement is increased. And just before term, insulin requirement will come down. What are the risk factors? What are the risk factors for GDM?
Obesity.
Yes, very good. Obesity, more than 30 kg per square meter. Obesity. Let's show next.
Previous diabetes mellitus.
So before that, the incidence I have told 10 to 20%. What is the incidence of a recurrent diabetes mellitus? It's more than 30%. Yes. So because of these hormones only, insulin resistance will occur. So type 1, type 2, I have discussed. GDM usually 90% it will occurs in later half. And type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes, that is over to GM, will occur early compared to GDM. So what are the risk factors? One is obesity.
Any family history of diabetes?
More than 30 kg per square meter, number one. Number two, elderly pregnant, more than 35 years. Ethnicity, Asian population, it's more. Family history of diabetes in first degree relatives. Previous GDM, previous impaired glucose tolerance, previous macrosomic baby, previous any bad obstetric history like stillbirth, any neonatal death, known case of a polycystic ovarian syndrome. So what do you mean by macrosomia? Birth weight more than
4.5 kg.
4 kg. How will you screen diabetes? Tell me something about the screening of diabetes. So previously it was selective, now it is universal. So how will you screen the diabetes? How will you screen? When will you do OGCT? What is oral glucose challenge test? So when the pregnant woman, when she comes to OP, OGCT to be done at booking visit. 75 gram of glucose to be dissolved in 200 ml of water to be given to the mother irrespective of meal, irrespective of time. Venous blood should be taken 2 hours after. The cutoff is 140. So this OGCT is both screening as well as diagnostic. So booking visit it should be done. Then if it is normal, it should be repeated second trimester, 24 to 26 weeks. Sometimes it may be, even if it is normal, it should be repeated third trimester because GDM can occur. OGCT may be normal first trimester, GDM can occur second trimester. Sometimes first trimester, second trimester, OGCT may be normal, third trimester, GDM can occur. So booking visit 24 to 26 weeks, second trimester, third trimester, 32 to 34 weeks, OGCT to be repeated. So the message is it should be done in all 3 trimesters. So 75 gram glucose, irrespective of time, irrespective of meal, that is DIPSI guidelines. What do you mean by DIPSI? What do you mean by DIPSI?
Diabetes and Pregnancy Study Group of India.
Pregnancy Study Group India. So according to DIPSI guidelines, if 2 hours OGCT is more than 120, that is decreased gestational glucose tolerance. If it is more than 120 to 140, diabetes, that is gestational diabetes. If OGCT is more than 200, diabetes mellitus. So according to DIPSI guidelines, 2 hours more than 200 diabetes, more than 140 gestational diabetes mellitus, 20 to 140 decreased gestational glucose tolerance. Okay. So previously OGCT, we used to give 50 gram of glucose and we will do venous sample 1 hour. Nowadays it was replaced by DIPSI method. 75 gram oral glucose, venous blood drawn. If it is more than 140, gestational diabetes mellitus. Since it's both screening as well as diagnostic, no need to do 100 gram OGTT. Previously, 50 gram of OGCT is followed by 100 gram of OGTT. So to do 100 gram of glucose tolerance test, unrestricted diet, at least 150 gram of carbohydrate daily for 3 days preceding the test, and fasting should be minimum 10 to 12 hours. Values are measured after 1 to 3 hours. So this OGTT, according to Carpenter-Coston, 1 hour is 95, fasting is 95, 1 hour 180, 2 hours 155, 3 hours 140. Any one value abnormal considered to be GDM. Nowadays, we are doing only DIPSI method since it's both screening as well as diagnostic. We are not doing 100 gram of OGTT. Other tests we are not doing, but at booking visit, glycosylated hemoglobin, that is HbA1c to be done. What is the normal HbA1c? It should be
Less than 6, ma'am.
less than 6, yes. What is the significance? What is
Gives
the
control for 3 months, ma'am.
So it gives the previous 4 to 8 weeks of blood glucose level. If it is more than 10, more chances for congenital anomalies. So at the time of conception, HbA1c should be normal, at least 6 to 6.5. So what are the maternal complications? What are the effects of pregnancy on diabetes. What are all the effects of pregnancy on diabetes? So because of anti-insulin hormones, more insulin is needed. As pregnancy advances, the dose of insulin is increased. Progress of diabetic retinopathy can occur. So, over-diabetic patient at booking visit itself undergoes examination to be done. And it should be repeated second trimester around 24 to 26 weeks and again third trimester. If already nephropathy, worsening of diabetic nephropathy can occur. And the increased risk of death for patients with diabetic cardiomyopathy. So these are the effect of pregnancy on diabetes. What are the effects of diabetes on pregnancy? So maternal complication, fetal complication. So maternal complication, very important is it can be associated with preeclampsia around 10 to 20%. And more chances for infection. Urinary tract infection, vulvovaginitis, chorioamnionitis, and after delivery, puerperal sepsis, postpartum endometritis. Even asymptomatic bacteriuria should be looked at booking visit, second trimester and third trimester. Postpartum hemorrhage, one of the important complication, and because of macrosomia, cesarean section rate is high. So these are the maternal complications. Pregnancy complication, what are the pregnancy complications? Because of diabetes. Anyone? Pregnancy complication?
Shoulder dystocia.
Pregnancy.
Polyhydramnios. Oh,
First trimester, pregnancy means you tell in trimester wise. First trimester,
abortion.
second trimester, third trimester. First trimester, what are the
Abortion.
complications? First trimester, abortion can occur. Why abortion can occur? Why do abortion occur? Because of high blood sugar, hyperglycemia, there is impaired organogenesis leading to abortion, leading to congenital anomalies. What are the other causes, other pregnancy complication? Polyhydramnias. Why do polyhydramnias occur? Give two reasons, 2 or 3
Fetal
reasons.
polyuria, ma'am.
Yes, fetal polyuria and
And due to high osmosis, due to hyperglycemia.
hyperosmotic effect of hyperglycemia. And because of congenital anomalies also, hydramnias can occur. So the causes of hydramnias, fetal polyuria, congenital anomalies, or that is neural defect is associated with the polyhydramnias, and amniotic fluid, blood glucose is high, hyperglycemia, it will have hyperosmotic effect. Because of polyhydramnias, preterm labor can occur, premature rupture of membrane can occur. And third trimester, and infection can occur in any trimester. Like vulvovaginitis, urinary tract infection can occur. PROM, chorioamnionitis can occur. Third trimester, 90% of GDM occur third trimester. So because of that, macrosomia. Why macrosomia?
Due to increased insulin, ma'am.
How does it occur? What is Pedersen hypothesis? What is Pedersen hypothesis? Maternal hyperglycemia, it will cross the placenta, goes to fetus, cause fetal hyperglycemia, hyperinsulinemia. It will stimulate the beta cells of pancreas, Carbohydrate metabolism is increased, leading to fat accumulation. Somatic growth is increased. So mostly fat deposition occur over the shoulders. So macrosomia leading to shoulder dystocia is one of the important complication of macrosomia is shoulder dystocia. And sudden in IUD, sudden intrauterine death syndrome, SIDS, can occur third trimester. Why? Suddenly, FH will be absent. All because of hyperglycemia. So maternal hyperglycemia, fetal hyperglycemia, leading to hyperinsulinemia. So increased fetal oxygen demand, leading to decreased oxygen tension. So that is, there will be hypoxia, hypoxemia, anaerobic metabolism. So increased lactate, increased acidemia, sudden IUD can occur. Okay. Anomalies can occur. What are the congenital anomalies? Commonest congenital anomaly associated with gestational diabetes is? Anyone?
Neural tube defect, no?
What anomaly
Neural
is
tube
associated
defect.
with G?
Sacral
Caudal
age.
regression.
Cardiovascular system. See, cardiac anomaly is common. Cardiac anomaly. Next is the neural tube defect. So what are the cardiac anomalies?
VSD, ma'am. Ventricular septal
Yes,
defect.
VSD. Good, very good. Transposition of great vessels.
TGA
VSD.
and hypertrophic
ASD.
cardiomyopathy.
Hypotension of aorta. Yes. So more than the neural tube defect, cardiac anomaly is number one. Next, neural tube defect.
Sacral agenesis.
Caudal regression syndrome. Have you heard? Caudal regression syndrome, anencephaly, spina bifida, orofacial defect, gastrointestinal tract anomaly like double duodenal atresia is common. Then renal anomaly like hydronephrosis, polycystic kidney disease, double ureter. So among the congenital anomalies, cardiac anomalies is the commonest one, followed by neural tube defect, and less common gastrointestinal tract anomalies and renal anomalies. So what are the neonatal complications you can expect? Neonatal complications. So we have seen maternal complication, pregnancy complication, neonatal complication.
Neonatal hypoglycemia.
So why does it
Because
occur?
of increased circulating fetal insulin.
So maternal hyperglycemia will cross the placenta, it will go to baby. So once delivered, that pathway is cut off, but baby will continue to secrete insulin. So because of hyperinsulinemia, blood glucose will come down for the baby. So neonatal hypoglycemia. Yes, very good. Next.
Hypocalcemia.
Calcium, magnesium will be low. Respiratory distress syndrome. Because of low cortisol, placental surfactant synthesis will be decreased. So respiratory RDS is common. So two important complication, neonatal complication, hypoglycemia and RDS, respiratory distress syndrome. Other less common, hypocalcium, hypomagnesium, and other complications. Other complications. Hyperbilirubinemia. Because of increased erythropoiesis or RBC breakdown leading to neonatal hyperbilirubinemia, polycythemia, hyperviscosity. These are the expected complication of the infants born to diabetic mother. Okay.
Hello, can someone tell us where it got disconnected, like from where?
Management, I think. Oh. Management.
Can someone tell us management started when mom was speaking? Can someone unmute and tell? Hello.
Ma'am, we were talking about neonatal complications.
Neonatal complications.
Oh, yeah, it's after management.
So we'll start from management. So if blood sugar is not under control with the medical nutrition therapy, how long will you give MNT? Just 2 weeks. If blood sugar is not under control, switch over to insulin. How to calculate the two doses of insulin? How to calculate? So total daily insulin requirement, 2/3 should be given in the morning, 1/3 in the night. So among the morning dose of 2/3, 2/3 should be intermediate acting, 1/3 should be short acting. And evening dose, half the intermediate and half the short acting. Okay. So if fasting blood sugar is well under control, 4-point blood sugar is enough. That is fasting, post breakfast 2 hours, post lunch, post dinner. That is called a 4-point blood sugar. It's enough. If fasting blood sugar is not under control, then we have to take 7 samples. Early morning 3 o'clock, then fasting, post breakfast, pre lunch, post lunch, pre dinner, post dinner. So 2 hours postprandial blood sugar should be within 110 to 120. So how will you monitor the labor? How will you monitor labor? So few words about oral hypoglycemic agents. If the patient is in known polycystic ovarian disease on metformin, she can continue the same metformin. But for undergraduates, previously OHA, it's better switch over to insulin. And glyburolide. Our aim is to keep the blood sugar. Fasting should be less than 95. Recent guidelines should be less than 85. Postprandial is less than 120. So the total calorie requirement is 30 to 35 kilocalorie per kg. Obese individual, 25 kilocalorie per kg. Normal weight, 30 enough. Underweight, 40 kilocalorie per kg per day. So among the diet, carbohydrates should be 40 to 50%, protein 20 to 25, fat content 30 to 40, less than 10% saturated fat. And there should be 3 meals, 3 snacks. That is, small frequent meals should be advised. They have to take lot of green leafy vegetables, less carbohydrates. So labor induction, according to estimated fetal weight, you have to assess the fetal weight. And according to modified Bishop score, we have to induce depending upon the modified Bishop score. If modified Bishop score is less than 6, we have to prime the cervix. If it is more than 6/12, ARM and syntocinon if the uterine contraction is not effective. We have to do early ARM to know the color of liquor. If it is meconium stained, fetus will be in the fetal distress and the emergency section should be done. During intrapartum, frequent blood sugar monitoring hourly should be done. If the blood sugar is less than 100 or between 70 to 100, no insulin required. If blood sugar is less than 70, 5% DNS or 5% glucose should be given at the rate of 100 to 150 ml per minute. And the continuous fetal monitoring should be there, and the partogram should be, charting should be done. When will you put partogram? When will you put partogram?
On the active phase.
Active labor, what centimeter?
4 centimeter.
4 centimeter.
4 centimeter, yes. Labor analgesia, if the patient opts, it can be offered. To prevent sepsis, we have to give broad spectrum antibiotics. And if there is macrosomia, shoulder dystocia should be anticipated. So we have to assess the fetal weight before deciding for induction. Instrumental deliveries, more chances for instrumental deliveries, more chances for perineal laceration for the mother. They may go for atonic or traumatic PPH. So routine AMSIL should be followed. Atonic and traumatic PPH should be watched for, and baby should be handed over to the pediatrician, and baby should be evaluated for other complications. This is for normal delivery. So how will you prepare the patient when you decide for planned C-section? Anesthetist opinion should be obtained prior, and the C-section should be scheduled for early morning. It should be done as first case. You have to obtain diabetes mellitus is not an indication for LSES. Macrosomia more than 4.5 kg, elderly primary, coexisting other complications, that is non-cephalic presentation, transverse slide, breach, is indication for LSES. So after delivery, breastfeeding should be encouraged. Within half an hour of delivery, we have to consult the mother early for early breastfeeding, early cord clamping to prevent neonatal polycythemia, and any congenital malformation which may be missed routine ultrasonogram to be specifically checked. Metabolic complications like hypoglycemia, hypocalcemia, magnesemia should be looked for. Then few words about the contraception. Low dose combined oral contraceptive pills can be given. And PP IUCD also. What do you mean PPP IUCD? Post placental IUCD insertion. And if she is para to live to motivate for permanent sterilization. Okay. And what is the advice to be given after discharge? Usually after whether normal delivery or cesarean section, early, we have to start oral fluids early. On third postnatal day or third post cesarean day, that is post operative day or postnatal day, we have to do fasting blood sugar and postprandial blood sugar 2 hours. If it is normal, it's a GDM. If it is increased, over diabetes. So we have to ask the patient to come for follow-up at 6 weeks to do that is 75 gram of OGCT. If it is normal, she is a case of GDM. 50% of the women, GDM mothers, they may develop established diabetes over a period of 10 to 20 years. So there should be a regular follow-up. So after delivery, they should come for follow-up. They should come for OGCT at 6 weeks. Then every 3 years, they have to do GTT. Okay. So GDM on meal plan alone prolong up to 40 weeks. On insulin, decide for induction at 38 weeks. If there is coexisting PAH or gestational hypertension, 37 completed weeks it is it for induction. Any doubts you can ask?
Ma'am, actually, how does polycythemia happen, ma'am, in infant or diabetic mother?
Sorry, ma'am. I wanted to ask how does polycythemia occur in the infant? I couldn't understand.
How does?
Polycythemia in fetus.
Because of hyperinsulinemia, I told you that fetus oxygen tension will come down, hypoxemia. Whenever there is hypoxemia, there is erythropoiesis.
Okay.
So polycythemia
Because of
will occur. Because of
hyperinsulinemia,
polycythemia,
this
hyperviscosity will
decrease.
occur.
Yes.
Hercules.
And how to polycythemia.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
I told you maternal hyperglycemia, fetal hyperglycemia leading to hyperinsulinemia. So
Yes,
because of high insulin level, there is increased fetal oxygen demand. So
Okay.
the oxygen tension is decreased in the baby, hypoxemia.
Okay, ma'am.
Because of that, increased erythropoiesis, polycythemia and hyperviscosity can occur. There is increased RBC breakdown leading to neonatal hyperbilirubinemia.
Okay. Yeah. Understood, ma'am.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Anything else? Why
Ma'am,
does respiratory distress syndrome occur?
ma'am,
I told you
because
hypoxemia and RDS is too important neonatal complication. Why does it occur?
Because of macrosomia, there is
Because
increased
surface,
glucose demand.
Because of hyperglycemia, fetal hyperglycemia, cortisol production is decreased. So surfactant synthesis is decreased. Type 2 epithelial alveolar epithelial cells will produce surfactant. That synthesis is decreased, leading to respiratory distress syndrome. So as soon as baby deliver, hypoglycemia, what is the cutoff of what is the normal blood sugar, neonatal blood sugar? It should be more than 40 to 45 milligram. If it is less than 35, neonatal hypoglycemia. Once neonatal hypoglycemia occurs, the baby may go for neonatal seizure. That complication is preventable one. Anything? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ria.